Hey guys, this is Crazy Peas. I am TPAW,
I'm the Karnage.
and I've got a special guest with us. He's another one of the Crazy Peas, and hasn't been here in a while, so I figured we'd bring him on, and you guys can probably hear him while we're talking. He's on Discord. That's the great thing about Discord. The great thing about Discord is it connects countries, it connects people, it connects family members, it connects everybody. And it's far better than Facebook Messenger, my gods. Yeah, so Nephi, anytime you want to talk to me on the phone from now on, just use Discord. Because I use Discord, like, all the time. So
I don't use it at all.
I hate using Messenger. I like using Discord.
Switched to call like 3 hours back.
Yeah. Yeah, but you would never have had, like, you would have had some problems with robot mode here and there, but it would have been an easy fix to solve. Nothing like we were dealing
Hey Simba, the crowd wants to see him. Quit hiding his face.
with.
I know he's your daddy, but T-Paw wants to talk to people. Like uncles. The lunatic.
So it's just like, I haven't had much time for my human because he's been so busy with the other humans.
That's called being a parent.
Right.
No offense, you're just not the most favorite child anymore.
What's funny is he came first, too. We adopted Simba before Aryan was born.
Yep.
But yeah, so today, this week, we are going to talk again about 48 Laws of Power. I didn't get too far into the laws this week because it was crazy as hell.
This week's been busy as fuck.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of June, so like naturally, because it's the beginning of June, a lot of shit hit the fan, a lot of other stuff happened. So I've been sort of just grinding and getting through it like I always do. But Karnage was like, so, did you get through more 40 Laws of Power? I forgot to ask you before. And I'm like, nope. It's been crazy as hell. And he's like, okay.
This is life.
Yeah. So, we'll talk about some other stuff, too. I mean, this podcast really is just freeform anyway. Anytime I've ever tried to have a solid topic on the show over the last couple of years, it's never worked very well. And one of the reasons is because, well, he's sitting right next to you, right next to me.
What? I do nothing except for try to drag your ass to the gym. And we talk shit on everybody, so you know.
So it's just, a couple of bros that are, commenting on the world, commenting on all the bullshit, commenting on everything. So that's pretty much how the show goes. So if you're still here, we appreciate you. If you're not and you've long gone, well, maybe you'll find us again somewhere in the cosmos.
Yeah, I always think it's funny. It's the galaxy. You mean the Milky Way? No, our galaxy. No. Ours is a speck in the galaxy. And it's only half a speck.
Yeah. Your wife, man. Oh my god.
Lunatics.
What did I miss?
Need glasses for this one. I'm just gonna go full on snark, just so you know. Like I was playing the whole trying to be like ultra sensitive and trying to be like empathetic and whatever, but I don't know. Like she's.
I told you that isn't gonna work.
Can they see it? Okay, they can see it if you want to play the video for everybody.
I'm pretty sure that was the first thing I told you when we got on the call.
Yeah. But yeah. So Nephi, we've been talking about 48 Laws of Power. Have you heard of it at all?
Nope.
It's
I have no idea.
All right. So Carnage, give him the lowdown.
okay. What it is it's 48 laws of power. Basically, it's the 48 laws that try to help you. And I like the book because it gives historical points of views on all the laws, and it tells you how to basically try to become a leader and use the laws to gain power in your own personal life, and it's actually pretty awesome. Plus, I thought it was funny because one of the guys that's like one of the top guys that's like best friends with the Tate brothers says, I got fourth way through the book and I had to stop because if you don't stop, you're a sociopath or a psychopath. And I'm like, I listened to the whole book. I'm like, does that mean I'm a psychopath or a sociopath? Because I found it very informative, very good for the way me, you, and Thomas, or TPAW, me, you, and TPAW think. So
Yep.
it's like, oh, we do this stuff naturally without even thinking about it. On some of the stuff, I realized with actually going into some of the laws, I'm like, oh, I naturally do that anyways.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that like you'll end up doing anyway.
Or
without
that
thinking
you're
about
doing
it.
and you don't realize that it's one of the things you're doing, but that's also what makes it a cool book because you see how everybody's a slight sociopath or psychopath anyways, because that's the way, especially with men, that's the way our brain works.
Yeah, and I mean, and you know, some of the most quote-unquote normal people out there in the world the thing about a sociopath, the thing about a psychopath is that they are actually the most adept at blending into society and blending into what's called normality. And so if you think you're going to have this stereotypical viewpoint of what a psychopath or a sociopath is, chances are your neighbor or your family member or someone that's closest to you is a sociopath or is a psychopath, and you don't even freaking know, and you won't know until they either root themselves out or until you learn what it actually is. And it's like one of those things that isn't like Hollywood tries to use, like with glamorization of like villains and stuff, where like, oh, they're clearly a psychopath, or that person's crazy with his eyes or with his hair or whatever. Like,
obviously you're a sociopath because you're a serial killer. Just because you're a sociopath or a psychopath doesn't mean you're going to be a serial killer. That just means you have tendencies to go, why are these motherfuckers always in my shit?
yeah, and it's even more funny because the most normal looking person out there will be the most abnormal.
Well, I thought it was funny, the doctor who was trying to figure out how to determine what psychopaths are, and in his control group, he found out that he was a psychopath. And he didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny because it's like, yeah, if that doesn't tell you, you could live your whole life, you feel your emotions, but you don't realize you're a psychopath because you've been taught how to feel your emotions. It's not whether or not you actually have emotions, it's the way you've been taught to do it, so that's the way you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a learned skill.
And socialization with humanity is the same thing. Like when children are growing up.
Psychopaths and sociopaths learn that, and they're like, oh, I'm supposed to show this reaction. With like me, when I don't show the reaction where everybody, shut up, bitch. I didn't even touch your special button, ho. But whenever I go into certain things, they're like, you don't show the proper emotion. It's like, that's your viewpoint. That's not how my reality is. That goes into the women are more emotional, where men are more logical. Which I actually hear more now every day, with not even looking for it. It's just some random factoid that pops up. It's like, oh yeah, we're this way, and you all hate men because we're logical. We're not emotional. That's why most women hate on men, because we're not emotional like they are. It's like, well, no, because when we're emotional, we get shit on.
Plus, women get really self-righteous and like really like.
Not all, but some, yes.
I said some, like most and some. It's kind of like a giant bubble there, where a lot of them will get self-righteous and they'll get very. You don't even have to be white. You could just be woman.
That's why I laughed. It was a joke.
But like,
if you don't get it, kiss my ass.
Basically, God damn it. Derailed. Anyway, so basically, the average person who identifies that way with the, the sexuality, the identification,
Mentality, yeah.
yes, will feel self-righteousness, they'll feel angry, they'll feel whatever it is they're feeling that kind of glorifies the idea of what you're talking about. And like it
well, that's also where
brings
some
to
of the
mind.
48 laws come into play, because some of the stuff that was talking about, I'm like, oh, is that what they're trying to do? No wonder it doesn't work with me, because I see what they're trying to do, so I work around it, or just ignore it fully.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things I've apparently taught myself without actually realizing I've taught myself. Because Nephi, his fun thing is the whole, everybody's like, yeah, he's a mini you. It's like, y'all have no freaking idea how he's a mini me, because he's a narcissist and a sociopath or psychopath, however you'd like to phrase it. And it's the funny part of, is that what that is? And for me, that's just like, well, of course that's what it is. He naturally has the talent because he's literally the same programming I've had since Hatch Day. But him and the rest of them, nobody was hatched but me, because I'm a brain
Enigma.
circumcision, or no, the wow, brain, no,
Anomaly, enigma.
no, cut out of the parent instead of actually giving birth.
It's not a traditional birth, but a
Circumcision.
no.
That's your cock.
Son of a
Circumcision. They cut my dick off. They cut everybody's dick off because it's dirty if it's not cut off. At least the tip. Anywho,
My God, my brain is spinning around this one word and I can't think of it because of all you're derailing. So
shut up! I'm derailing myself. Keep on topic. That's
So- so Amber was. I'm trying to remember. Okay, when the child was being born,
C-section.
That wasn't even a word. It was a phrase. The medical terminology.
Give me a minute. My brain just circles back to it with the ADHD. I'm going in 15 different directions at once. You know this. Come on now. How long we've been podcasting and shooting the shit? I go everywhere all at once. Oh, wow, my brain.
Oh, jeez.
Off to left field. Then I came back. Then off to right field. Came back. Off.
Then you
Off.
zigzagged.
And then it's like, oh, this worked. That's why I'm hatched. I'm a C-section, while everybody else being born is a birth.
Yeah.
That's the hilarity for me in it.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Nephi?
He's eating right now.
Her or dinner?
Son of a bitch.
Yes. This is the model.
I guarantee you he's laughing right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He may be on mute, but
He's on mute. We're not.
yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. By the way, guys, you will not experience a show interruption this week because that night that we had those interruptions, I went online
God,
and
that was a clusterfuck.
just reordered the same exact USB thing that I had before. Because of the original one, the cabling, I don't know what it was with it, but it got broken, and so I
told you
reordered
we
it.
need to
Got
cut
a
it
new one.
apart and re-solder it and rewire it.
It was $7. I went ahead and just bought a new one.
Well, no. For me, that's like, ooh, need a solder gun. Okay, I'm going to take it
Hola,
apart.
¿cómo estás?
Bueno.
Suck my dick. Just kidding. That's his line.
For most people, not that person. That's your line with that person.
Yes.
Okay, let's go into some of these little like snippets I like to do so that way we're not doing it at the end, because if we get it done now, maybe we'll have time to talk about random shit. Or
Yeah.
we'll go through one of these and spend an hour and then go through the next one.
Yes. Yeah, I was so happy that I was able to do that because I did not want to have to deal with that shit again this week.
Oh.
And I'm always doing that for Ghostel too. Like every time. I'm always finding out ways to fix her streams or whatever. You wish. What do you think I try to do nightly?
Hang on a sec. You ready?
That's true though.
Talking about Mike Tyson.
Yeah, no one will ever know the violence it took to become gentle. Because it's true, like, you become violent or you get angry at everything and you, like, get to that point and then you realize that being gentle, being compassionate is far better.
Oh, yeah. And it's the that's also, like, some of the laws, too, where it's like, you can be the tyrant, but if you show them that you don't have to be the tyrant and they all still look like idiots,
Yeah.
you look good without having to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's like me. Everybody always calls me the bad guy. And what do I usually do when that happens?
Usually just kind of laugh at them and... Unless it's the other certain person that lives at your house, then suddenly you
even
you have
that,
your own
I'd
trading.
laugh at it.
Yeah, that is
I'd
true.
laugh at it. It's like, you're the supervillain of the story. I'm like, oh, I'm the supervillain of your story, which means I'm the hero of my story.
Yep. Which is also part of why you liked Snake of the Dam.
Yes.
The whole concept of the villain actually only being the villain because everyone sees him that way.
Because everybody because he's a demonic entity or malevolent.
Yes.
So, from their viewpoint, he's bad, but from his viewpoint, he's trying to save everybody.
Yep.
By showing them what their true power is and telling them quit being weak.
Yes.
So they see that as evil, but it's not evil. That's like Megamind. He was only the bad guy because the good guy was fighting him. When there was no good guy to fight him, he became the good guy.
Yep.
Why is the Joker the bad guy? Because Batman has the same mentality. The only difference between Batman and the Joker is the Joker will kill people where Batman won't.
Mm-hmm.
If Joker had a rule, I'm gonna do all this shit because it's funny, without killing anybody. Let's see if they get the joke.
Yep.
He wouldn't be considered the supervillain of the story.
Yeah, he would just be considered an antagonist or an antihero.
Yeah, like Deadpool.
Yep.
He's not the hero, but he can still be evil without
Yep.
being evil. I love that shit.
I love you too, Ghostel. Put in the chat, I love you with a heart.
Sister. Yeah, fuck you with your capable hands. Alright, next next thing. Next soundbite.
If you take the really dark chocolate, 73% cacao, really dark, and you make it into a high flavanol hot chocolate drink, you have it twice a day. This was the clinical study. They found in people who wound up drinking the hot chocolate twice a day over the course of a month, they doubled the number of stem cells compared to people who didn't drink hot chocolate. Well, they measured their blood flow. They found that the blood flow was much faster if you take the really dark chocolate, 73% cacao.
So, that right there, I mean, it proves one of two things. You get the same effect, and he said 70% cacao, so it's the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as drinking coffee, because it's the same effect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because drinking coffee gives you the same effect as if you did the exact same thing with cocoa beans.
Yeah.
You let them dry out, and then you roast them, grind them into powder, and put it through a coffee filter. Same effect, without any sugar. It'll taste as good as most people think coffee tastes, but it's actually a stronger flavor because it has the same amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
So it's healthier for you, but yet it gets the same effect. That's
So
why everybody who drinks coffee, I'm like, you're stupid. Drink cacao.
So you're gonna start drinking, what was that called again?
Cacao.
Cacao?
It's the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
He said go get the 70% cacao dark chocolate bars from like Walmart or somewhere,
Yeah.
and you chop it up and put it in basically warm water to melt it, and you use a frother to mix it all up and whatnot. And if you drink that, like people drink coffee, it improves your blood flow. Here, I'll go back to it. I'll let him
Really dark
explain.
chocolate, and you make it into a high flavanol hot chocolate drink. Have it twice a day. This was the clinical study. They found in people who wanted to
Like you're
drink
making
hot chocolate
cappuccino.
twice a day over the course of a month, they doubled the number of stem cells compared to the people who didn't drink hot chocolate. Well, they measured their blood flow. They found that blood flow was much faster if you take the really dark chocolate, 73% cacao, really dark chocolate.
Yeah,
I'll have to
see,
check that out.
It ups your stem cells. Your stem cells are what your body naturally produces to help you heal, and the stem cells are also what helps your body be able to recover cells that are dead.
Yeah.
So if you did it, maybe you'd grow some of the hair back that you've lost because it would reactivate those genetics. But I mean,
wonder.
the stem cells in your body naturally do that. That's what helps you repair from the gym. That's the part that takes the chemicals in your body and stuff and helps you get stronger and helps you recover from injuries or like emotional crap. It'll help you. The stem cells helps your body naturally recover. That's why I like dark chocolate, because I'll eat dark chocolate to the day I die for the simple fact is, or I'll just eat straight cacao, because it might taste bad or taste really strong like coffee, because I don't like coffee. But that's also why I like drinking. What I make is a mocha, but to such a strength of the chocolate, you can't taste the coffee. And I've ran on that. I mean, because the
I
hot
like coffee.
cocoa or cacao, whatever you want to call it, because it's the same thing. But if you use the like dark chocolate, what it does, because it's healthier for you than the coffee, and because how much caffeine it has naturally, when I mix the two, the coffee and the chocolate, you have so much caffeine in your system. Dude, I get the freaking, like, I'm the Flash and I have the shakes because I'm moving 10 times faster than everybody else. That's why I can see everything working around me at half speed. This is also where my brain goes into click. Oh, you're like idiots. You're seeing it on slow-mo. I'm already 10 moves ahead.
You spell it Kekal?
C-A-C-O-O.
Cacoo. Oh, cacao. Oh, that's an Egyptian drink.
It's not just Egyptian. It's
Like it was like
Native American too, because
I
that's where we
remember
get a lot of
seeing
our
it in-
chocolate.
Yeah, I remember
They
seeing it in various
drank
history books.
Cacao, hot cocoa, without sugar, like everybody else. Started drinking coffee beans. The Mayans and everybody from South America were doing that before anybody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at how healthy they were before the Spanish came and fucked them up with all the diseases they brought. But anyway, you got a fact
It
with
says
that.
recommend not having more than 2 ounces of cacao any given day. Doing so could lead to nausea or headaches, especially if you don't drink enough water or eat enough food before or after the cacao experience. Can also be effective to have a very small amount of cacao. I'm trying to pronounce
For
it better.
me, it's cacao.
Okay.
Or just say cocoa.
Yeah. Aside
Pure
from giving,
cocoa.
is drinking cacao better than coffee? And I'm saying coffee.
Coffee.
Aside from giving a gentler energy boost without the jittery effects and crashes, cacao is significantly healthier than coffee, possessing more nutritional benefits. 1 cup of cacao contains roughly 420 milligrams of magnesium, which helps calm the nervous system and moderate the release of stress hormones, which is what you're talking about.
Yep. That's why I prefer pure chocolate, cocoa, cacao.
Yeah.
However you'd like to phrase it or say it,
Yeah.
the effect is 10 times better than coffee.
Brewed cacao. While brews like coffee, you get the benefits of cacao with 350 milligrams of theobromine and just 15 milligrams of caffeine per 8-ounce cup. Brewed cacao also is becoming a more popular alternative for coffee for its significantly lower levels of acidity versus coffee.
You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it pre-ground like it's coffee grounds. To put in a coffee filter to make, instead of coffee every morning, you make cacao every morning.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way he was talking about it, anybody who knows how to make cappuccino, where you froth it and whatnot, that's the image and video they were showing, that they were using the 73% dark chocolate to basically make yourself a cocoa cappuccino, which is better for your health, which I thought was hilarious and awesome. When I found that, I'm like, okay, I need to save that for the podcast, because I've known this for years, and it'll just be funny to put that out there on the internet for everybody else to go, you've known this for years, you fucking asshole. It's like dark chocolate, dude, just eat dark chocolate.
We're here, spreading the wealth of knowledge and information, and you learned something new tonight, hopefully. And if you already knew this, and you are going, oh my god, somebody else who knows it, there you go.
Okay, here's a challenge I want to put out there for anybody listening,
Like,
or
crack the code.
people who will listen to this later, because I thought this one was a funny one.
Go out there, 6 months challenge. First, never watch porn. Second, wake up before 7 a.m. Third, do not drink alcohol, drink 4 to 5 liter water daily. Fourth, read 15 pages of any book daily. Fifth, work out 5 to 6 times a week. Sixth, believe in yourself and take risks. Seventh, start a side hustle. Who is going to take this challenge for 6 months? Tell me by commenting. 6 months challenge.
I put in the comments, oh, I'm going to do this, motherfucker. Did you know me? It's a challenge. Oh, really? Challenge? Damn, that just means I have to get back to porn. Jerk off to memory only. Okay, cool. Dude, you know how many naked women I have in my head that I've seen through my life?
Yes.
Some of them are my age, some of them are still a little young, but they're over 18 now.
You just like start thinking about the women you fucked in high school, and then suddenly you're back there.
Oh, it wasn't effing them. I just ate it. I ate out 90% of the girls in middle school and high school. I wasn't the guy who bent you over and banged you. I'm the guy who ate you out and actually gave you an orgasm for most women. I was the lesbian male. I was the only guy who could call himself a lesbian, because I prefer pussy to everything else. Oh, fuck, you just want to eat you out. I want to see if you taste like candy. Because most women, when they come, if you're eating them out, it tastes like fucking sugar.
Yes.
And I'm like, come here, sit on my face, give me my candy. and it freaked out a whole bunch of women in high school, but it's like, once they had experienced what I could do without putting my dick between their legs, they're like, oh, yeah. Okay, you're my side bitch. I'm like, whatever. You better take a shower first, though. Because if not, I'm going to throw your ass out the damn second story. But anywho, let's go to the next one for shits and giggles.
Where should you keep your gun in if you have a kid house?
Okay, let's go back. How old is your child when you teach your child firearm safety? Okay, let's say keep your gun in the safe, right? So the lockbox right next to the bed. Okay. Middle of the night, boom, you hear somebody kicking your door in there, holding the ass of your room, ready to spray you up. How long it's gonna take you to get that gun in that safe? I can leave my gun on the counter if my child already knows firearm safety. Now, go back to my question. How old should a child
6 years old.
How old are you when your parents taught you not to stick your finger in lights up, touch the stove, or play with knives? You couldn't even talk. But here's a good one. Perfect example. Some stuff you just didn't play with, right? Mommy and daddy taught you look left, look right, look left before you walk across the street. Did you play with traffic? Some shit you just not gonna.
No, but I mean, I love the mentality.
Yeah.
You just don't do that shit. Don't be a dumbass.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, honestly, I find it funny that he's saying that because, like, even as young as, like, Phoenix is turning 5 soon. And, like, with that kid, like, we were in Head Start with her, and they had an activity, a Be There event, and one of the activities was teaching them traffic safety. And teaching them, you know, when to walk across the street and look both ways before crossing. She's turning 5. She's not even 5 yet. She's 4. And so, like, she's turning 5 in like a couple months. And so, the idea that, like, I'm teaching firearm safety to, like, a 6-year-old, it sounds like common knowledge.
Okay. To go off that note, in the Normandy, Sweden, Delaware, all those countries,
Mm-hmm.
it is part of their schooling. They teach them firearm safety, how to shoot a gun, you know, all that stuff.
Yes.
And the funny part is, that's a country that has the least amount of people owning a gun and the least amount of crime that has to deal with a gun. That is the safest, one of the safest areas on this planet.
Yeah.
And what do they do? It's part of schooling to teach them gun safety and teach them how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
Because if you know how to do it and something goes down, you can protect yourself. But if you don't have to, then you don't need to.
Yeah.
That's what I think we should start doing in this country too. Teach them in elementary school how to shoot a gun and gun safety, because when they see what it does and show them videos of what it does to somebody when you shoot them, like in the head, you know, anywhere on the body, show them the videos of it. Like them shooting the safety, you know.
I would say it depends on the sensitivity of the child.
No. For this one factor. Because if you show them what it does, then they'll be too afraid to own a gun. Because they've learned the safety, they know how to operate one, but they're afraid to have one because they know what it looks like when the injury happens.
Yeah.
It's you show them, like, okay, let's show everybody when they go to sex ed, when they get to that age where it's part of schooling. I think it should be part of schooling, period. Cut, done. But you show them, have a video of what having a killing the baby before it's born.
Yeah.
I need words.
Abortion.
Yes, thank you. What an abortion looks like.
Yeah.
Actually show them a video of what actually happens. One that'll scare chicks away from just running around and jumping on dick. And I don't have to worry about it. I'll have an abortion. If you've ever been through one or seen one, because I've heard it from females who've actually had abortions, it's the most horrific thing on God's green earth.
Yeah.
It's the most horrific thing, period. But if you show people that, what happens? They won't do it. And then we go back to, you shouldn't have sex until you're married because you know that's the person you want to be with and you want to raise your kids with. That's also like we should take away divorce. Like a lot of these people, I hear them preach, like Just Pearly Things and a few other people, because if you take that away, take away the benefit of she divorces you, she gets your kids and half your shit instantly, then that takes that off the table, because if that's not on the table and they don't benefit from it, then they won't do it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against women and, you know, people being in bad situations, like he's beating the shit out of you, you should have the possibility for divorce. But the thing is, you shouldn't just divorce him because I'm unhappy, I don't feel loved. Well, do you not feel loved because he's not giving you attention because he's working his ass to the bone to pay all your bills and to pay his bills and the bills for all of your kids together?
Yeah, it's a lot of stress.
It's that situation.
Yeah, and it's a lot of stress, honestly. Like,
For everybody.
I'm considering fucking like trying to get a job that allows me to do a lot of other overtime and trying to like do more. And it's only because it's not because I love working. Like, I don't. I only love working
We
if
all
I
hate
like
working.
if I like the thing I'm doing, then it's not work anymore. It's just clocking a paycheck and you're actually enjoying what you're like. When I was at Verizon, for instance, first like couple years of working there, I never felt like work really. Like, yeah, it felt like work at a certain point, but it stopped feeling like work. Like, it started feeling like it was more fun or whatever. And with, you know, future jobs, it has felt like work. It has felt very much like you're dragging your feet, you're trying your hardest to hit all the, you know, be on time to things and everything like that.
The quotas and bullshit.
Yeah, but it's just such a drag on your existence, and like such a drag that you're just like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And so I want to be able to get a thing that allows me to do overtime to make the extra money, just to make ends meet in this economy, because this economy, the inflation and everything is just terrible. And anyone who
Because
thinks
we're on the doorstep of communism.
and if
That's the
anything
beginning of it.
thinks otherwise, they're not paying attention. Like, they're really not paying attention. I have 4 children, and while I could easily have not had the 4 children, it's a question of, do the people that are saying that, would they have preferred us to do abortions, or would they prefer that we just simply work our asses off even harder? That's what I'm doing. And so it's like, I'm working my ass off even more. And so it's just like, you know, with what you're talking about, you know, when it comes to work and stuff, like, the woman can react the way she wants to react. There are a lot of career women out there that are like, I'm working just as hard, if not more, than the man, which, congrats to you, kudos to you. There's a lot of women out there that aren't.
And the funny part is,
They're the
most of
opposite.
them, by the time they hit the age of 40 or older, they're like, God, I hate this. I should have got married and been in a decent relationship with a man who can make money, so that way I wouldn't have to stress about it. The only thing I gotta stress about is kids.
Yeah.
Because
And-
I hear that on a lot of the little, like, podcasts and whatnot, that the old women, or the women who actually have it in their head, or brought up, like, Christian or whatnot, that's part of the religion. Don't have sex till you're married and that sort of stuff. They're actually happier than the women who run around and screw around and have a job making $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Because by the time they hit the age of 40 or plus, well, I'll say 35 plus, just to cover my ass, they hate their lives because, God, I spend all my day trying to help somebody else make money, or, God, I gotta spend so much of my day making money. I have no time to live my life because I'm doing business 24/7, 365. It
Yeah.
sucks ass.
Yeah, and you know, you have that generation that grew up in the 50s and 60s that romances the idea of working yourself till you die. And then we have the newer generation that is understanding that life should come first before any type of work. Like, you should be able to prioritize your family, or should be able to prioritize, you know, yourself, your mental health, your emotional stability, you know.
Well, I also think
And-
the funny part, or the issue with it is, everybody goes into the, we'll see what happens. It's, well, are you dating just to get laid, or are you dating to actually end up in a marriage and a fulfilling relationship? Because if you're not, and plus, it's the thing, I have all this baggage. Well, why didn't you do what you wanted to do to make you happy? To not have all these mental issues and not have this baggage.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue with most of the world. It's males do it too, but females do it more than males do. It's bring baggage from previous relationships into the current or new relationship. Well, I was treated like this by this ex, so I'm gonna treat you like shit, make you pay for what somebody else did, even though you're not that person and you have nothing to do with that situation.
Yep.
It's horrible. Alright, next thing before we get off on other random bullshit.
The FBI agent, commanding agent on the scene, reached out to Epstein's lawyers and let Epstein's lawyers know and decide what was privileged
it's just funny. I thought that would be interesting because we could talk about the whole Epstein Island and all that shit about the human trafficking, screwing kids, and that was like their whole thing to try to rope in famous people. But I mean, you hear Epstein, you instantly know that's what it is. So if he invites you to be one of the multi-billionaires of the world, would you go to his island? No, because you're going to try to get me to bang some under 18 chick.
That's always the haunting thing too about this whole Epstein thing, and like
Now that
our
he's
government.
dead?
Yeah, and like our government and like how it all works. Like the idea that if you get into a massive amount of power, that you throw a rock, especially if the saying goes is that if you want to be successful and you want to be rich, then hang around people who are successful and rich. But the thing is though about that statement is that if just about every case I hear about someone who's heavily in power is there's all these rumors and stories from all the normies that, you know, people that are lower class, that sort of thing, that they for some reason go to an island and with child trafficking, which is not a good thing. And it's haunting to me hearing about that shit, because I'm just like, really? Like, a kid that's like my kid's age or someone that's like Connor's age? Like, what?
Would be more like Connor's age, but female.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
that's even more haunting.
But I mean, that's also like, what is it? One of the camps where they take presidents and a whole bunch of famous people. What do? They do this. They do a ceremony.
Ceremony? You mean like a ritual?
Yeah, ritual. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Basically, for you, basically selling your soul to the owl god or whatever, and they also have young women there who are under 18. Haha, because we have you on video camera. Now we own everybody who's a president anywhere because we're in charge of it and we're doing it all behind everybody's back, sort of shit. It's been brought up and talked about since I was a kid in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
It's been talked about forever that this happens on a regular basis.
You would think, with everything going on in our world right now, with our government, with other fellow countries' governments, you would think that they wouldn't be trying to pay extra money to hush those stories up. You would think that they would just be simply just stopping
They've been
it.
doing that since like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that is fair.
But anyway, next soundbite, because I knew that one was going to be
Nephi dipped.
If you really want to kill the most things, be a vegan. Because the farmers who protect your beings kill everything. I kill one animal per arrow. In order to grow tofu, you have to kill every grouse, every frog, every shrimp, every snake, every turtle, every frog, every bird, every rabbit. Anything that gets in that bean field, I'm either going to plow and dismember, and then if anything does survive my first slaughter, I'm going to come in with Monsanto and poison the shit out of everything, so you can have a tofu salad and not be responsible for any death. Fuck you. If you really...
Oh yeah, he went hard. But I figured that's a good thing to bring up, because I always talk about it, that when I hear these things, but I'm like, you know what? Here's the guy who actually does the farming for the vegan farms for tofu and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, but we don't want to kill animals. But yet, because you want 50 acres of land for you to have your tofu, because the tofu beans, how it's made, you're killing millions more animals than you are if you eat meat.
Yeah. What's funny
Chickens
is,
and cows and all that stuff. You're killing a million more animals because it's all the tiny animals we don't eat, but those are all the precious, pretty animals that you want to save, but yet you're killing more of them than us who eat meat.
yeah, and it's kind of crazy because it's like, any one of those people on the internet that are gonna go all vegan and then like try to police people who like to eat meat, a lot of animal, as they call it, animal products, a lot of animal stuff gets used in vegan food anyway, and as the guy pointed out in that video. and like you're gonna end up finding out that
You're
you
killing more animals than you would be if you just ate a cow.
yeah, if you just ate a cow, then you would have ended up, saving more animals, even though it's like
Plus-
one innocent cow.
With the cows and the other animals that we breed and we use, their manure, their shit, is used to fertilize 90% of these not animal farms,
Yeah.
which is funny because you need animals to fertilize everything that's not that's a plant based.
Yes.
So it's like you're still eating animals. Oh, and I love this one because this one got brought up. I don't know if I saved it on here. If I did, I'll let it play later. If you're vegan, you can still eat eggs, you idiot. Because pause. Because the difference between an egg that's going to become a chicken and an egg that isn't, they're two different eggs. One in color, two, because the ones that are going to become baby chickens are different, because if you don't have a rooster there to fertilize them, they're basically just eggs.
Yeah.
It's literally just a protein crack cook.
Hmm.
You're not actually killing anything by eating an egg, because if you don't eat it, you're basically just throwing away perfectly good food.
Yeah.
Because 95% of the eggs you eat would never become a chicken. Every once in a while, they accidentally put one that's going to become a chicken
Yeah.
into the part where they sell it. Because I've cracked open eggs where there's a blood spot because, oops, this one was fertilized and they didn't realize it.
Yeah.
But that's like 1 in like 1,000 eggs.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can deal with that, tiny, like 10%, 5%, whatever the tiniest minuscule amount is.
Yeah.
Because it's so rare, and they keep such track of these chickens so that way their eggs don't get fertilized, that it's such a small number, it's not even worth counting.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
it was one of those little sound bites that I heard that I thought was funny as shit.
Vegans' issues is that eggs is a byproduct of the chicken, and it can't consent to its eggs being taken.
If you don't take it from the chicken, and I saw a video on this, a guy talking about this.
Nothing to do with it could have been a chick.
No. See, if you don't take it, and it's a non-fertilized egg, eventually the chickens will basically become cannibals and eat their own fucking eggs. So either you eat it, or the chicken's gonna eat it itself. Or some other animal is going to eat it from you just throwing it away.
Yeah, either way,
It's
an
one of those
animal's dead.
random factoids.
Yeah, either way, an animal's dead, and either way, food's being wasted, and either way, we have to eat something.
Either you eat it, or the chicken's gonna eat it, and then when the chicken gets old, you gotta kill it, put it out of its misery before it tries to kill all the rest of the chickens in the coop. So, killing chickens is not a bad thing if you do it properly. Because a lot of farmers are bitching about the way we do the farms with, like, the chicken farms and whatnot, because it's not done right. But if you get a chicken from an actual farmer that's at the age of, it's not too tough, it's not too old, but if we let it live too much longer, it's going to go nuts and try to, kill the rest of the chickens in the chicken coop.
The hens can also become broody and not lay anymore.
Yeah, that's when you kill the chicken, when it broods, when it can't lay eggs. It's literally lived past the point. That's the age it gets too old. And if
It's
you don't
just
kill
like-
it, it'll go off and become suicidal, or should I say homicidal, and start killing other chickens. And it'll even eat them. It's literally a cannibal.
Would it be considered evil if you knew for a fact that the hen was going to become broody, and instead of killing the hen, you put it off in like some area where like you let it socialize with the other hens to become broody,
But-
and then you watch this, they all kill each other.
That's called cockfights. Except for it's not a cock. It's a hen.
Eggs cost so much Mom and I discussed getting chickens.
Do it. Just make sure you get a rooster. Mom knows how to do that stuff
So-
because she used to live on a farm. I mean, like, shit, dude.
So is it considered that I would become an emperor of a gladiator match if I stuck a bunch of bloody hens inside of a chicken coop and watched to see which one won?
No. Because the issue with brooding
I became more of the ducks, I could become more of the
is
hens.
they also, with a lot of the brooding hens, when they can't lay eggs,
Mhm.
they will steal somebody else's nest and sit on their eggs like they're going to hatch babies, even though they're not hatchable eggs. Also,
I mean, there was a duck that we had
it's a
named Panic.
whole thing.
Yeah.
I can go in and out 15 different ways from Friday about the stupidity of you're eating chickens. Yeah, okay. Everybody eats chicken. Even Indians eat chickens. The only thing they don't eat is cows because they think cows are resurrected people who died.
You go
So
to
you don't want to
McDonald's,
kill your uncle
KFC,
who's resurrected as a
Taco
cow.
Bell, any restaurant in existence that isn't vegan
90% of the restaurants have chicken food and
vegan,
vegan.
because they're gonna make
But I
their
mean-
food somehow.
With the Taco Bell, like with them doing vegan, they're already getting the stuff. So the farm's already producing it, so they're already getting it. So all they're doing is not putting the meat on it and just giving you the same food, just with more beans. Because beans, like black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, actually have approximately the most protein out of most vegetables.
Bloody hens are just hens that sit on eggs until they hatch. That's why when hens get broody, some people give them fertilized eggs.
You can, yes. But the issue is it's pointless to have one because if you already have a hen house with a dozen hens and some of them are laying eggs.
So if I just put like
But
a bunch
also
of hens that are
chickens
broody,
will fight you. A lot of chickens will fight you and not let you take their eggs. Mom's talked about there was this one hen that anytime they went to go get eggs, it was, don't you touch my eggs. It could, I'm hatching it, even though it wasn't a hatchable egg.
So if I took a bunch of hens that are broody and I put them in a part of the pen that's locked off, it's just them. And they're all like
You
the
would have
crotchety old
to
ladies
give them
that
the
like can't do
fertilized
anything.
eggs
Yeah.
into their nest.
But would you call it the Hunger Hens then?
Uh-huh. No. You damn Hunger Games. Alright, next soundbite, since you like going off into left field.
Transracialism makes no sense in transgender. Because race is actually a spectrum. Race is actually a social concept. Gender is binary. There's male and female, that's it. There's nothing else. Right? Race is actually a spectrum, right? If I want to have a child with an Asian woman, my child is going to be mixed. If she is mixed, then we have child, the child is going to be, race is it's actually a social concept. Yes, it's based on
We're all
DNA
humans.
and ancestral history, but these terms we use, nobody's actually black, nobody's actually white, nobody's actually these literal colors, right? If someone
Shit, I
was
always
mixed
talk
race,
about.
we even call them black, right? If we call Trump black, we call Barack Obama black, right? They're just as white as they are black, but in terms of the social construct, we call them black in many cases. So it's actually socially constructed and it's genuinely spectrum. You can meet someone and you're like, okay, what race are you? It's like, my grandparents are from here, my mom's from here, my dad's from here. Said transracialism.
The crazy part of that whole statement is he's fucking right. And the reason why I say that is because no matter what scenario you're in, where you're interacting with a fellow human being, no matter what scenario you're in, you're either going to be identified as white or black, or you're going to be identified as whichever way based on the pigment of your skin,
Asian,
and
Hispanic.
not by your nationality. They will not ask you about your nationality. They won't even get a blood test or saliva test done to do research on your actual ancestry. They'll just simply look at the pigment of your skin and then assume your entire story.
Like Jose. He doesn't know what region he comes from, but hey, Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Hispanic. We don't know from where.
It's a
But
social
90%
construct.
of Hispanics get called Mexican. No, I'm Cuban. No, I'm, whatever country they come from or island that's Hispanic.
It is just as much of a social contract and a social construct of finding out someone's race and presuming things about them and their history without actually getting to know them as it is much as a social contract that when you drive on the road and on a highway, they're not going to get hit by a car and play bumper cars.
But see, there's the funny part. Race is imaginary. This is like I've said on this podcast 1,000,001 times before. We're all human. We're Earthlings. That is our race. That's the planet we're from. We're all just different shades.
When I was, the thing that shocked me about my genealogy. This was years ago.
Yeah,
I
you
did
guys do that like
Ancestry.
4 or 5 years back?
Yeah.
Like mom and dad?
Yeah, me and the spouse did Ancestry.com. Each one of us put our saliva in a thing, and then we sent it off, and then logged in the website, and then waited to see what the genealogy said. My ancestors, not only did they come from 5 different parts of Europe, but they also came from Africa. They're just not African American, but they're white.
But
Right.
see, here's the funny part.
They're Danish.
That's like
Danish and
you
German.
can't claim you have African heritage. Yeah, I
And
can.
British.
I have people in my family that come from that region of the world.
Also, did you know that
But-
white
but-
people are
but
racist
they're
against white people in
white.
Britain
But see, here's the funny part.
and Ireland?
Oh yeah. Oh no. That might be one of the other ones, but that's something I heard. If we're going to give people money or some sort of thing for anybody who's ever been treated like shit because of their race or where they come from,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. You can't say every black person because a lot of black people owned black slaves. You can't say Native Americans because we came over, screwed them, but yet they were killing each other and screwing themselves anyways. Let's see. You can't claim all whites are evil because there are whites in countries and white people are slaves because slave comes from Slavic because most slaves way back when were from the Slavic countries. What we were talking about earlier, Norway, Sweden, and Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
They're Slovakian. They're white. 90% slaves is a word because your butler, your rich Englishman, is a white motherfucker because he didn't have a choice. His family got put in that slave job 4 or 5 generations back.
Or they're a colored person who has the same exact background and same exact history, and yet they happily had slaves. Because it was part
Everybody
of the
had
business.
slaves back in the day.
It was
Black,
part of the
white,
business. It was part of the economy.
no matter what color you were, you probably had a slave or you were a slave.
Abraham Lincoln was one of the first presidents to be able to really put forth an actual forward vision on abolishing slavery, and it's because he had to shift and change the economy enough to where the racial slavers were okay with it changing.
Okay.
Like he had to change the economy completely.
But see, one of the things from one of the people, he was a white guy who was a slave owner, he said, you can't just make them free because they don't have a job and no money. All their skills are their jobs as being a slave, so basically being farm
I am not
workers.
interrupting Tim.
Shut up, we interrupt each other.
I'm just interrupting interrupting
And it's
him with
Karnage. Get it right.
the chat. Yeah.
We don't say our real names.
I'm not
like,
interrupting a Tim because there's no Tim here. It's just Karnage.
Right? Anywho, but, you distracted me, jackass. Anywho, but it's like the whole thing, like a few of the supposed, the looked at as bad guys, the bad slave owners, actually said, we can't just set them free because they have no skills. So we're going to keep them here and pay them. And that's where you actually have the Confederacy versus the Yanks.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with slavery. That was the propaganda they put out because there was more black people in the Confederacy Army trying to fight for their freedom to be their own country. There's more blacks in the Confederacy Army than there were in the Yankee Army.
Oh, she was saying I was telling Karnage not to interrupt you. Oh.
Too bad. We interrupt each other.
I mean, fair is fair. I mean, you derailed me earlier, and then I derailed you, and then I derailed myself, and then we derailed each other.
Yes. This is the podcast.
But thank you very much for trying to have it back there, Gusto. I appreciate it.
We love you, you lunatic.
Yes.
But I mean, that's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't realize. Just like the Confederacy was bad. Actually, the Confederacy paid and hired, not just put them in as soldiers for their war, actually paid and gave them jobs more than the Yanks did.
Yeah.
The whole, like,
It's kind of a tug of war power back then.
railway was more like, we want to get you out of the South because they're keeping you as slaves, for the few racists and who didn't want to let their slaves be free. Not the ones who actually gave a shit that they were humans and that was part of the condition.
So anyway, the power book thingy with eyeballs.
The 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, what about it, Gusto? Do you have a question about it, or what's up?
Yes. What do you want to know? Or do you want me to play some of it? Because I still got like 2 more sound bites and then we can jump into that for an hour.
Yeah, no, I find it interesting about the whole slavery topic, because not only is it a horrifying part of our history, and not only is and I don't mean just with America, like in general throughout history, like whether it's Egyptians, whether it's the Nordics and the Czechoslovakians, and like a bunch of other different parts of history where slavery is just a concept that is part of the economy and just part of the social normality of society.
But
I
there
find
are more
it
slaves
so
now in other countries than
Yeah.
there were when we tried to stop slavery originally in the United States of America.
yeah. I find it weird.
There's
how,
more now than there's ever been. That's the stupidity
Well,
of the
one
argument.
of the things that I find interesting about it, and this is something that I thought about a lot after listening to "Stay Free" with Russell Brand, is
Good podcast.
is that he talks often about how the very social normality and the very idea is that everyone is so gung-ho and so just addicted to the idea of making themselves look ideological, making themselves look,
like they're the victim.
yeah, like the victim or the survivor or someone who is winning a position of power by playing on the empathy of others and playing on the sadness of slavery and sadness of racial warfare and the concept of it. And there's this like giant social contract that if you are an ally of one movement or an ally of another movement, then suddenly everyone wants to be friends with you or someone wants to be your enemy. And yet it is not about what is truthful. It's not about what is actually there. It's not about like everyone being fair to each other, everyone being free, everyone being able to, be themselves.
Be nice and be friends.
Yes, and be respectful. Like that part of the dialogue has become massively lost in all the noise and translation of the changes of our society in the next stage.
To argue. That's like, what was it? It was on Dr. Phil. You had a black professor bitching and complaining about white people doing certain things or appropriating other cultures. And here's something they found. They had a guy who does YouTube videos where he's dressed up like other cultures.
Yeah.
Where the white people or certain people bitch and cuss at him. But if he actually goes and talks to the people of that culture who still live in that culture that haven't been westernized to an extreme, they're like, oh no, yeah, do whatever you want, dude. We don't care. Thank you for showing respect in my culture and doing that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And one of the things he brought up, which he threw at the black professor, well, the darker skinned professor, I'll say it that way, because I dislike the whole black and white thing. That's not.
That's why I either kind of
true.
say colored now or I just say African, which again is still good.
That's not 100% either, because blacks also come from other parts of the world.
Yeah,
but
like
anywho,
just colored people.
yeah. But the dark skinned professor was told off because it's called a Dutch braid. You bitch about white people getting braids, but guess what? The Dutch were the original people who did braids because it's called a Dutch braid. Dutch people, the whole region is white. So you're literally appropriating white culture by having all the braids that mostly black people have nowadays. So you are a contradiction and a hypocrite in your own bullshit. And when he said that, Dr. Phil was like, and what's your opinion on what he just told you? And the professor just sat there and literally just shit his pants. You'll have to look it up. It's a funny Dr. Phil thing. And I went, because it was on one of the videos, one of the people who was on the panel talked about it. So I'm like, no, I actually have to look up the whole panel. And watching it, it's hilarious. Now the people bitching about appropriation are people who are doing more appropriating than anybody else.
It's also funny because when you pose as an ally or you pose as as someone who shares the same ideology as the side that happens to be more in power right now, which is the left, and the red side is being considered the rebellion, and even though beforehand it was the other way around. Every single time a new president comes into power, every single time power seems to shift within Congress or power seems to shift within the media.
In general,
yeah, the one side went from being the rebel to being the hero or the villain, whereas the other side ends up becoming the rebellion. I found it so funny because it happened with Trump, and it happened with Obama, and it happened with every one of these presidents.
It's always happening.
Is that you've got the
rebellion,
rebellion, and then you've got the imperialists, and it's always flipping and everything. And these people that are in power or people that become more favorable socially when they talk about their ideology or their performance ideology is they get celebrated and they get love and they get people adoring them on Twitter and other social media websites. And even though they could easily have be the biggest fraud and the biggest performer in existence, they're still going to get celebrated and put on a pseudo platform and pedestal and then worshipped, pseudo worshipped because they shared the same ideology. It's not even about truth anymore. It's just about whatever narrative or reality you want to frame it in.
That's what I think is funny. You call a female a sexist from she does this bitch about men. I'm not a sexist. Oh, so we'll use your language. You're reverse sexist, or you're reverse racist because you're picking on and cussing about white people. That sort of thing. And when you show them that they're being just as bad as the people they're bitching about, even though nobody in the current situation is like that, it's funny how they get gutted or, you can't claim that. Yeah, I can. Because you're picking on me because I'm different than you, which is what you're bitching about.
Yeah.
It's like, what you're complaining about is exactly what you're doing. That's like, who started the KKK? The left.
Yeah.
Who started all this stuff that hindered and hurt more darker skinned people of any shade than anybody else? The left. So it's like, do y'all not know your history? Do you not see what you're doing? You're literally saying, look at me, I'm for everybody. That's like LGBTQ. It's like, no. It's not the alphabet mafia, because the mafia part of it's true, but it's become this argument, but yet 90% of the alphabet mafia doesn't want to be part of this transsexual bullshit.
Yeah, I broke some rules recently.
Yes,
socially. I went on Facebook and I went on Twitter, and what I did was I made this very long post that had the LGBTQ flag, and then it had the men's rights flag.
Because it's Men's Right Month and Pride Month.
Yes, and I put them both together, and I made a post that combines both, gave them both a shout out, and broke some rules on both sides of the argument. Since you
broke
people like to frame
wall of everybody's argument against each other.
Yes, I did. I said, "Fuck y'all." All of them need to have love.
You did the Deadpool thing.
Yes, I did. I broke the fourth wall and said, "You see this, the man? You see this, the powerhouse? You see this? Guess what? Suck my dick."
She's going to be up all night.
Of course.
Well, I heard the baby screaming, so just put the child to sleep. Anywho, next soundbite.
I strongly believe that ADHD is something humans evolved to better survive. It's
That one was just I wanted to play it because I showed it to you and the wife.
Mhm.
I think it was this morning.
Yeah.
But I knew I was going to bring it up because I think his viewpoint on that, how our brains are working at 1,000,000 miles an hour compared to everybody else's is normal. We were the lunatics who figured out where the good food was or this or that because of certain things we noticed that not everybody else notices.
Yeah.
It's that fun little fact about the ADHD brain. It's like when we first started hanging out, you're like, I don't think what you said is going to happen. Just wait.
And then,
And
I
then it
watch
happened.
every one of the fucking things just start happening. I'm like, I'm looking at it back. I'm looking, I'm sitting back with my phone in my hand, watching everything, and just being introspective one night. And I'm just like,
That's where the ADHD kicks in.
oh,
It's
interesting.
the being called a prophet because you see the future because your brain's working at 1,000,000 miles an hour sort of thing.
It's like fireworks all going off at once, and I'm just like going, pretty colors. Wait, what's happening? Oh shit. Stuff you called a while ago is happening. This is crazy. But not really crazy. You're gonna be up all night, gonna be partying all day. Just kidding. Why are you gonna be up all night? Do you want to? Is this like a new shift where like instead of going to bed at like red run now, you're gonna stay up? Does that mean you're gonna be up when I'm up, when the podcast's over? That'd be kind of cool.
In like 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, I actually these are some really controversial topics, but of course they're fun.
Well, that's why I always, like I said, send them to myself for the podcast because we talk for like half an hour
per
on this
clip.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually, so the reason why I made that post is actually it was a response to somebody else's. And
Making a complaint or bitching about how now it's men's whatever month.
Yeah.
Pride month. It's like,
yeah, because
we don't get a month. Why are you bitching that we finally got something?
even included the Pride Month in their post, and I'm like, in conjunction with the other thing, and I was like, and he's like, I was not trying to raise one up over the other, and I'm like, then why the fuck did you frame it that way? And then like,
that's how it looks. Yeah.
and then
I
like,
saw what you.
and
I
then
know which
like,
one you're talking about.
and then like I mentioned to him, I was like, I'm not trying to, be a butthole or be a brat or
Yep.
grind your, exactly what you're saying or whatever. I'm just simply trying to make a point here, and I'm just like, hey, if you're gonna pay respect to one, might as well pay respect to the other since you're mentioning in the same fucking breath anyway. And
Right.
so, and so I went ahead and I was like, let me go ahead and do my version of this, and so I went ahead and did my version, and it's like, how about
and more
if
people shit their pants on yours than his.
yeah, more people were like some of them were very supportive, and some of them were just like, you can't include the two together, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm an ally because I'm married to one, and I'm an ally because I have a lot of friends and family that are part of it.
Exactly.
And I'm also an ally because I myself am the Men's Awareness Month person who happens to be identified as white with my skin color. And I have a dick. So obviously I would be the man person. And obviously, if you're going to transcribe or subscribe yourself to the idea and ideology that I am somehow your enemy, that is your problem and not mine. Because I am standing up for your rights while you're supposed to be standing up for mine. Equality.
Ah, yes. They like that word when it's them crying about getting it, but yet when we say, you get everything I do, but I'm getting screwed because you're getting these special things. See, now you're just complaining about exactly the same thing you complain about. But you can't do that. Why?
Exactly.
And then they don't have a reason, or it's because of your color, because you're male, or because of this, or because of that. But see, because of that, I'm getting excluded from this, and this. Well, you're not.
I actually talked about to Gustel one day. I was like, I'm going to wear my workout clothes, and then I'm going to grab the pride flag, and I'm going to, like, videotape myself, like, running with it or something, or just walking with it, and just to be funny. Like, be like, this is me in my masculine element, and I'm carrying the pride flag. Hear me roar.
See, I have nothing wrong with the pride flag, but I've heard, I don't even remember the guy's name, but he made a big bitch. This flag isn't for me, and he ripped it up. Because the whole, like, alphabet mafia is supposed to be I'm not the same sexual orientation as regular, what's considered straight people.
Good thing it was an American flag, otherwise he'd get a prison for that.
But, well, I think that's why he did it. Because he was saying, I live in America. The only flag I give a crap about is my country's flag. And my state flag for where I live. All the rest of this is just propaganda bullshit. Let me live my life. Now that I have the right to marry another man or do whatever I want to do, and not going to get, strung up and, the whole old school bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, can we, like, just shut up? Everybody live their lives? Not try to propagandate kids or any of that stuff.
It's fair.
Alright, let's listen to the last one. I think this one's funny.
How many guns do you have per 100 people? Very restricted amount. We got like 0.3 guns per 100 people. That's very
Oh, that's not too great.
We got like 3 per 100 people. Oh, same is strict here. We got like 3. How many guns do you have per 100 people? Very strict about it. We got like 0.3 guns per
That's
100
Japan.
people. That's barely any. That's pretty good. We got like 3 per 100 people. Oh, same is strict here.
Nigeria,
We got 3 guns
China.
per 100 people. We should know. Population seems so we got 5 per 100 people. Still strict here.
India.
Population. Good ratio though. We got 12 guns per 100 people. Okay, yeah.
Italy.
Okay, makes sense. We got like 23 guns per 100 people.
Sweden.
We got 34 guns per 100 people. And
Canada.
people like base and stuff. Why do they own so many? Well, what are you using for humans? We get like 100 and stuff. Oh, okay, makes sense. We got 120 US it's per 100 people, Yeah, there are more guns than people. Well,
We got Ohio. Well, that explains it. I thought that part right there, just that alone made it hilarious as hell.
Especially since there's the joke that went around Twitter of Ohio doesn't exist.
Yeah. But I mean, it's that funny little snidbit, the asinine part that I'm just like, I actually lived in Ohio and Cincinnati. I can laugh at the stupidity of that. Because I've actually lived there. I know it was so stupid, I ran away to Utah. How bad does that make it?
I know
Just
a few
being
people that
honest,
live there. I know a few people that live there. One of them's Zagel, and then LR Evans, or might know him as Luke on Twitter. Yeah.
I know of at least 10 people who ran away from that state. And at least 2 people who didn't have the balls to run away and are stuck.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, guys in Ohio represent. Yeah,
We're
Luke,
just
Daigle,
making fun.
nothing.
Don't put me on the stick, because
I want
it'll burn and I won't.
I personally want to eventually visit because Daigle and those guys are there, and I'd like to see those guys in person finally.
When you go, you gotta go to Skyline, and I can't remember the other one that's real big for the chili.
Yeah.
Because most of their chili, it's chili on spaghetti. I didn't really like the spaghetti part of it,
Yeah.
but the chili on like a hot dog, it's some good shit. But you better make sure you at least 30 minutes to an hour after, you're pretty damn close to the toilet because you're taking a shit. I mean, it tastes good, but I mean, yeah, that's just like with the White Castle, because it's really big out there, in Cincinnati especially. But I mean, in Ohio, it's one of the bigger restaurants.
Yeah.
Sliders, they're called sliders because you eat it and you better run to the shit.
I remember Jose telling me about that because I was over at Mom and his place, and he was like, I'm going to make sliders.
He bought.
And he's like, I'm going to make sliders. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh, you know why they call it sliders, right? And I'm like, why? He's like, because you're going to have to run to the bathroom right afterward. He's sliding right out of you. And so, like, I didn't believe it.
It's a colon cleaner.
Until he made them, and he had, like, he gave me, like, a couple sliders at first. And they're small. They're easy.
Oh, they're tiny
they're,
as
like,
hell.
really tiny. And so, like, you can down quite a few of them.
Yep.
But, like, I ate 2 of them at first. And then, like, 10 minutes later, he's like, so you want another one? And I'm like, sure, why not? And so he made 2 more. And I downed those 2. And then he was like, all right, well, maybe we should wait to eat a couple more. And I'm like, well, what if, like, you guys have a lot more? And then Jose's like, yeah, I got a ton of them. He's like, Just figured I'd, make them whenever they're needed. And he's like, they're super easy, super, convenient to make. They just really clean you out. And so, of course, Andrew and I decided to joke around and vape a bunch. And out of nowhere, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And then like Jose is just like, ding! And I'm like,
told you.
I'm like, wait, what? And he's just like, I told you, it's gonna slide right out of you. And like, next thing I know, I'm on the toilet, and it is one of the longest liquidized baths coming out of my rectum. It's like,
it's what it's called is it's the colon cleaner.
yeah, it cleaned me out, that's for sure.
You eat 3, just be within freaking 5 steps of the toilet.
I ate 4
Fucked.
within a short time.
But see,
So
here's the funny part.
It went.
If your brother ate the same amount, it's like, the shitty part is, there's one toilet. You better hurry up. Sort of thing. There's that one.
I don't know why I made those noises. I'm in a weird mood tonight. Oh, we got another visitor. Hey, Hallett. So you're on the podcast right now?
Fun?
Yeah. You just got off work?
Yeah.
Oh, fun. You're in the trailer? All right. Figured I called you back early before we started the podcast because I figured
See what you called.
see what you called for because Nephi was talking to me for a while because he got shit going on with himself and his wife.
Well,
Like,
it's all handled. No biggie.
All right.
I'm gonna sit back, enjoy my burrito, and probably go to bed.
Oh, okay. Turning in early.
I get up at 9 a.m.
yeah, so that's not early. That's right on time.
Okay, sounds about right.
Well, to be fair, to be more accurate, I get up at like 7 a.m. to get ready for work, to be to work at 9.
See, there you go.
Yeah, that's bad. That's more waking up, early enough.
Wake up, stretch your balls, scratch your ass. All right, time to get dressed.
Yep.
Shower, shit, shave.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'll do is I'll hit you up after the podcast, check in on you. If you're asleep already, I'll leave you alone.
Well, if you see the light on, you know I'm up.
Okay. All right. Talk to you soon then.
Unless I magically zonked out with the light on.
I wouldn't doubt that.
You have actually been there at that point. Like I've literally gone out there and seen the light on and opened the door, and you're just like, your ass was luckily covered by a blanket, but you were topless.
Oh, baby.
And you were like, you were facing towards the wall, and I was like, Alan, and like you were just like facing towards the wall, and I'm like, blur, and then like you didn't respond, so I was like, in fact you were snoring, or like, so I was like, and he's gone. I was like, he's gone, and I left.
Oh, he's nowhere near as bad as my uncle. Rest his soul, he's dead now, but when he snored, it was like sitting next to a fucking chainsaw, motherfucker. He was a loud snorer. It's like, Jesus. I mean, he was 6 foot tall, too, so it's like, big man, big noise.
I know that I was up in the bedroom, laying on the bed, and I'm like sort of trying to decompress, and out of nowhere I just hear the giant loud rumble from downstairs, and I'm like, is that
Dad
Russell?
snores.
And then she was just like, my wife's like, yep, that's him.
Oh yeah, he's a loud snorer. I mean, I am too, and I know
The thing
it.
that bothers me the most out here is that fucking train.
Yes, that's fair. That thing is loud. Like, I'm in the office just chilling out.
I'm closer to the train than the both of y'all.
It's worse when they decide to go from a dead-ass stop and move the fucking train.
Actually, no offense. I actually like that noise because it's bah, 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 click,
It's the
click,
loud
click.
banging that wakes me up in the middle of the night.
Oh no, that actually makes me fall asleep. That's like having a white noise generator. It's like, background noise.
No, that's more like cannons going off in your ear.
Hey, I'm actually right in front of the tracks. Remember, my house is right next to the tracks. I'm like 20 feet away. You're like 100, 120. I'm way closer. I guess that's why it doesn't bother me.
Okay, that reminds me.
Yeah,
When
but I have no insulation from noise.
I remembered something. So
Neither do I in my house.
So I was reading. I was doing a narration for Snake of the Day, which I'm going to do more of it tonight. Now that I know that he's going to bed early anyway. But hey, I often try to check on people, and that's what gets me sucked into things. But basically, I was doing chapter 4 the other night, like a week ago, and like, so I'm sitting here. I have to like take one of the kitchen chairs that makes no noise. I have to sit there.
that one.
Yeah, sit in front of the microphone right there, propped up on that little stand there with the styrofoam around it, and have to be sitting a certain way. Have the Kindle in my hand because if I use the mouse, it has clicks, and then I have to use a thing to delete the clicks or whatever. So it's a lot of extra editing that I'm going to do. So I just grab my Kindle, hover over it like Count Dracula, like this, and be like, all right, let's get ready to go. And I like tilt the screen sideways so I can like look at it and monitor it properly. And I'm sitting like this, and I'm all like, and blah 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 blah, flip,
Why don't
blah
you
blah blah blah
invest in
blah,
a soft
flip,
roll?
and then as I'm doing that, out of nowhere, like 10 minutes into the recording, and granted I had to like erase some things, and I also had to re-record some lines. So we're talking like 10 minutes in the recording, but an hour into the session, and I hear. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I hear, and I'm like, the fuck is that? And I realized that Dave, because I have the headphones on while I'm narrating, and so I realized that Dave has got the zoomies at 3 a.m, and now suddenly the train is going by, and I'm hearing an ambulance going by, and the train is going, and then I hear like what they're talking about with the bang, 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 and then I know where I hear, roo, 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 as Stitch is going off, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? It's all excess noise.
No. See, when all of it happens at 3 a.m., I need to stop recording and send to go to sleep.
No, I had to finish. I had to finish the chapter. So I had to wait till all that noise was dead. And it took about 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right, we're good. And then, like, I don't know where I hear, as the front runner goes, hey, bitch, and zooms across.
No, the front runner doesn't run at this hour.
Well, no. It's them starting it up because the garage is in Ogden for the front runners. So they ship one all the way down south to start at 5, and they ship the other one up north. I think it goes to Brigham.
Yeah, no, front runner does. There's nobody on the front runner except for like maybe the driver, but the
conductor and a few other people.
Yeah, but they.
Why the fuck don't they just have a parking station?
They have one in Ogden, and they have one in Salt Lake. But 90% of the time, because the security's better in Ogden, they're at the Ogden garage.
I've literally watched the front runner drive by at 1 a.m. and seen nobody on the damn thing. In fact, it paused briefly because it stopped and slowed down and then sped back up again. And during that pause and that slowed down, I was looking in the cars and I was like, there's nobody on this thing. What the hell? And like it was zooming by at 1 a.m. And then it did again at 3.
Yep.
And I was like, what? Is that what I'm hearing when I'm in the office? Is I'm hearing the
But
giant...
See, if you're hearing it at 1 and 3, that's them checking the system. That's also their graveyard shift.
Yeah.
Because most of the graveyard shift is usually like checking and cleaning the buses.
Yeah.
That's the graveyard shift for them checking and doing all the stuff with the front runner of the trains.
Yeah.
Because they have to do that for the morning conductor and engineer that run into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but it's regulatory and safety measures.
Yep.
I've also
it's
ridden
a
the
daily
front
to
runner.
weekly thing.
I've also ridden the front runner by that area too, like when I was riding from Salt Lake City, because it had to pass through this area to get to Kirkland Station. And
you what is it? The one right before you hit the bridge.
Yeah.
and it's like 2 before Salt Lake Central is the stop where they stop to let off some people, because that's like the UTA parking for some of the employees to switch out conductors.
Yeah.
I've seen them do it. I don't know how many times with ran in the front runner.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump off, watch a show, eat my burrito, and after all that, I'm probably gonna hit the set.
All right.
Alright, yeah, catch you later.
All right. Talk to you soon,
Later.
Howard. Enjoy your burrito.
You said that right before you just says bye.
Yeah. It was like click.
Later, white person.
Yep. The social construct that is a white person.
Well, no, that's like the most. When I heard that snidbit, and it was a darker skinned guy saying it
Yeah.
about like this trans crap is, and gender's not a construct. Either you're male or female. It done. You have XX chromosome or XY chromosome, and the few, because it's rare, few and far between, is XXY or XYX or YXX. You know, the few combinations there can be, or XYY, which means that means you're like double the testosterone of a normal male. But those are like weird abnormalities. Those aren't regular.
Right.
Which also proves the whole thing with mutation. Like the whole X-Men thing. When is that going to happen? It's already happening. Haven't you been paying attention? You're a hermaphrodite. Ah, a mutant. They can screw themselves. So the old saying, go F yourselves, has finally come to fruition. And not on purpose.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also like nuclear stuff with them testing nuclear bombs all over the world since like, gosh, what was it, the 50s?
Yeah.
60s? I mean, them testing nuclear bombs all over the world, most countries, the world's covered in so much nuclear waste just in the air. That's like, we need to hide, we need to do all the safety things so that way we can shove it in a hole under a whole bunch of sand in the middle of a desert somewhere. It's like, there's so much in the air now that they use that to try to figure out with the carbon test how old or new something is. But it's like, before the nuclear bombs, we've always had nuclear, but once we started setting off nuclear bombs, can you really accurately do the carbon test to see how old something is with as much saturation of nuclear just particles are in the environment of this planet now? I think not. I think it's an invalid, proof concept. Because it used to be valid, like back in the 70s and the 80s.
Back when they didn't have all the research.
And now, I mean, the last time it was, in my opinion, actually accurate was the 90s. Anything after the 90s in the 2000s, with as much as they set off on a yearly basis, because one video was, they actually showed it, they looked it up on, they did a Google research, and they were showing like the year, no, this is just this year. This isn't since they started doing nuclear tests. And like the whole map's like covered in, because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's like John Wayne dying because they were doing the nuclear tests in the because they were doing it in the deserts of Nashville, but they were also doing the nuclear bombs upwind and not realizing that that's what causes cancer, and that's how John Wayne got cancer, because he was downwind from it, and everybody that did the movies he was doing when they were doing the nuclear tests were downwind of that shit. That's why most of those people are dead and got cancer.
Yeah.
One of
Talking
those
about
weird
the actors and
factoids I know.
actresses of the movies, of the franchise.
Well, it wasn't even franchise, it was just like the old Western movies they used to do, because they did them in the desert, because that's what Westerns are. You're supposedly be in the desert because of the Dust Bowl and that sort of stuff, like in Oklahoma.
Do you remember that one year? Like it was like 2019 or 2020 when like all those celebrities just started dropping like flies, like they all just started dying.
Ah, did they die, or was that the first ding of the bell? Because we've talked about that when we had the earthquake in
Yeah, in 2020.
yeah. Because it was 19 when all the celebrities died. What if, only because they were celebrities, they were actually translated and left the earth, because that was around that year was the year of the first ding. And then in 2020, when you said you and your dad heard the crack.
Yeah.
That was the second.
Yeah, it was like 7 in the morning when I heard the crack. And I wasn't even sure what the hell I was hearing. I just knew I heard a crack sound, like some weird crack sound, and then I heard of the apartment shaking.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yep.
I'm just saying, what if those people were people who were actually knowledgeable, and those were the people who were translated with the first bell? So we're just all living on borrowed time. I mean, I'm okay with it because I know where I'm going. I don't really care. I go to where I consider, well, my own personal, through my beliefs, what is considered hell for where I'm going to go, which is the celestial kingdom, which is basically the same as living here. Without all the murderers, rapists, and all the evil people.
Yeah.
It's the people who didn't actually, they knew what was right, but they didn't, like, do all the stuff they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Because I do my best, but I'm not 100%. I try.
I'm not sure where the hell I'm going if I were to go.
You're going to be stuck with me for eternity, motherfucker. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I already know that, because me trying to tell you this stuff, and I know you take a lot of it to heart, and you look at, especially because I go into my spiritual spills for like a week or two straight, about how Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, from my point of view, through me living in the world, is actually the closest thing you can get to the actual religion of, what Jesus was trying to prophesy and talk about, and a lot of the prophets from old were talking about in the nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to lose a lot in translation, so some of it not a lot of people get because they only see certain parts of, oh, that's the whole religion, or it's, oh, it's all this, or oh, it's all this. You have bad eggs in every religion. I mean, look at the Catholics. All their priests and bishops were molesting and fucking little boys. And what did they do? Just move them around. They didn't actually do anything. And Catholic being the biggest religion, I mean, it's even said in a lot of the prophecies of the end of the world, the biggest religion is actually the religion of Satan. So, if that's the biggest religion, and calling everybody else devil worshippers, who's going to call you the devil worshipper? The guy who's actually worshiping the devil, so that way you don't look at him like he's the bad guy, because I'm not really going to look like the bad guy, because I look like I'm trying to save everybody. It goes into the narcissist.
Yeah.
Trying to prove he's the best by doing all the things that are good for everybody else. When in actuality, he's actually Satan incarnate. Or devil incarnate. Because Satan and devil are not the actual titles of Lucifer, Samael.
Yeah.
Those are the titles that can be given to any of the third of heaven that went to the outer darkness with him.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can look it up on your phone, because I just want to see you look it up. How many people have lived on the planet Earth?
Have they ever lived on planet Earth?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
But see, this is the estimate. How many people have lived on the planet Earth?
I've lived on Earth. Still with some assumptions about population size throughout human history, You can get a rough idea of this number, about 117 billion members of our species.
Okay, now pull up your calculator.
Okay.
So it said 117
Yep.
times. No, don't add all the zeros. Just times dot 33 equals
38.61.
billion souls that what the hell don't have a body and want to torment you and make you do evil things to make you go to hell. That's a lot of people.
Wow.
I mean, we have 7 billion on the planet now.
Yeah.
So the 30. Pull the number back up real quick.
38.61.
I'll do the
38.61.
38.61. Divided by 7, because there's 7 billion people. That's
5 point.
no.
5
We'll just say 5.
Okay.
Just leave it at 5. That's 5 souls. 5 billion souls per person to torment you, try to get you to do evil, whisper into your ears, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go to hell for this." To get you to fuck up, to get you to say God isn't real, to get you to say or do things that'll get you sent to the worst, most possible place you could go.
Huh.
Think about that. 5 billion people for every person on the earth that is tormenting you and harassing you now. And the half number will go every billion people have an extra billion souls trying to torment them. Or you equal it out however, because half you could like equal it out like every other person has an extra soul on them.
Yeah.
Which would equal out to another billion.
Very interesting. That's fascinating as
just
hell.
thought.
Yeah. It makes me really want to think about how many times, like, throughout my life that I've ever been tempted to do anything stupid or do anything, like, not so great.
It's the thing of shouldn't smoke. Have that nicotine in. Have that nicotine in. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I feel it too. I know it's there. Every once in a while I'll give into it because I'm mortal. I'm human. I
Right.
don't have 100% control of my body because if I did, it would not exist in this form.
Right. Yeah.
Sort of thing. When you become 100% capable and you're 100% in control of everything in your body, which means every cell, every molecule, every atom, you can literally translate yourself into non-existence in a mortal form, and you basically become God form. Pure energy. Do whatever you want, whenever you want. Because that could be God and or literally
Are you trying to suggest
evil,
that these celebrities became one with the Force?
I like the loophole. I like how you did that. But I mean, it's either they became one with the good side, or they became one with the darkness.
Yeah. I just said become one with the
Because
Force.
here's the thing. What if only the famous ones were the ones noticed? But how many people actually disappeared or died or just from existence? Nobody noticed because nobody's keeping proper count of all the people in existence on this planet.
Yeah, and all they did is send in some report saying how they died or how they think they died with the diagnosis.
We don't know. Mom,
What
auntie,
unknown causes.
great-grandma.
Yeah.
We don't know. They just disappeared off of the face of the planet. We've been looking for them since 2019, and we can't find any of them. Think about that for a minute. Missing people or people who disappeared who didn't have anybody who would look for them, who are just gone and nobody knows.
They just blame the government anyway.
Blame the government. They blame they could have got killed. They don't know what the hell happened. They ran away from America, ran away from whatever country they were in because they were being treated like shit and worthless, good for nothing.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. They just off of this planet. move to the next
Presumable
existence.
stage, yeah. Like stage of life. What you were telling me that I was about to do when I medically died.
Yeah, you got to get a glimpse in the next existence. Because funny part is life is not this lineal time thing that we're currently living in. This is just how we interact with time. Because gravity makes time act the way it does. If you have a watch and I have a watch and it's one of the wind-up ones, but I'd have to have one with like a leather wrap.
Yeah.
And like a leather underneath for the watch so it doesn't fry because my magnetism's so high. I kill those watches that do the click-clicks.
Yeah.
If me and you said it, okay, midnight click, and just went, by Monday they would both say a different time.
Huh.
It's those funny little factoids. That's like, okay, when somebody's born, if you give the kid a watch, that always with the kid, and the parent, the mom, the watch, by the time the kid's 20, clocks will say different times because your magnetic, where you are, depending on the world, and the magnetic force on your time is different than the other person's magnetic force they're feeling because of where they go in the world. So no time is relevant. Linear time is bullshit. It's all imaginary. Because the days are getting longer, the years are getting longer, and in the next, they say 50 years, our clocks will have to add a few hours in a few centuries or millennia or some such. I don't remember the exact calculation because as far as I'm concerned, all the calculations are wrong because that's like, it took 1 billion years for us to get to this point. What if it didn't take 1 billion years? What if it only took like 200,000 years to get to where we are now? Because like we've talked about on here, it's the at the beginning, time moves faster because the thing was just started.
Yeah.
You spin the top. It goes faster at the beginning, then it slows down until it stops. So our calculations of time in the way of day, like in the Old Testament, Adam lived till he was 900 something years old. His son Seth lived until he was 900 something years old. This person lived until they were 900. But it also says they lived until they were 200 and something before they started having kids. So what if 200 years back then is the equivalent to being 18 or old enough, 16 even, for males and females, we'll just equalize them on that, before he is old enough and gone through puberty and has a brain enough to have a wife, get married, and have kids. It would be 16 years now, but back then, that's 200 years.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not even sure if the years were calculated the same way back then.
But see, there's the thing. What if a year, which is we think a year is the Earth going from one side to the other.
Yeah.
What if that 200 years is equivalent of 15 to 16 years now? How fast would the world be moving, and how fast would a day be for that to equivalent?
Yeah, I mean, the day
The
would be
mathematics is just
different.
makes your brain hurt.
Yeah.
But if you actually calculate it, dude, they're so fucked up. It took 1 billion years. No. In the current measure of time, in the current amount of days in a year, in the current amount of time in a day, actually it's only like 200, 300,000 years. Maybe at max we'll give you 500,000. Cover my ass. But I'm saying if time moved faster, a day was only, we'll just minimize it, I'll say 12 hours to be nice. Although I think it was only 6, but that's a different calculation.
I mean, technically in The Little Mermaid, the interesting thing about The Little Mermaid is that the time clock ends when the sun goes down. It doesn't end the next day. It ends when the sun goes down. And so with Little Mermaid, being the fact that that story
Sun goes down
that
at
took
midnight.
place at what was seeming to be a much older time frame, like we're talking 1500s, 1400s, because technology also was different in that story. When the sun went down, that day ended. That's how that was calculated in Little Mermaid.
Yep.
That's why the agreement with Ursula was that third day when the sun goes down. If you don't have what you need to kiss, then
and him in love with you, then you're
then your
good.
soul is mine.
Yeah.
And so she was trying to stop her from being able to do it by the time the sundown hit. But it was when the sun set. It wasn't when it was not when the clock chimes midnight. It was when the sun goes down. So it's an interesting thing. The reason why I bring that up is because in Cinderella, it's different because it's when the clock chimes midnight. So it's like in every one of the stories, their rules are freaking different when it comes to how they calculate time.
Not just that. If it's all in the same universe or cosmos, like universe as in it's all in the Milky Way. But what if some of the Disney movies are in the same universe as in like Earth going around the sun, but it's the Earth going around the sun this universe, but it doesn't coincide with this universe over here. That's why Monsters, along with like The Incredibles and a few of the other stories, are all in this universe. But yet Disney and like Ariel and some of that stuff's in this universe, but yet the Lion King's over here in this universe. Because it's all the same star, planets, and then planet where entities are smart and live.
Yeah, because Lion King took place in Pride Rock with the safari.
But see, what if the reason they can talk is because they're not technologically advanced, but they've developed and evolved in a way where they actually speak like we speak. So it's a different universe.
Talking lions with average people.
They are the humans of that universe.
Hmm.
The animals are actually the humans of that universe because you don't see anything else going anywhere else. You don't see humans at random coming through the African Sahara like they actually did back then or like they do now. There's no humans anywhere.
Yeah, like there's no Tarzan.
Ever.
There's also no Tarzan or anything.
There's none of it. So it's in another universe in the Disney Pixar multiverse, because Disney and Pixar do a lot of movies together, and a lot of them are linked through little things that the artist or the person drawing it puts in little snippets that are like, oh, clearly these universes are connected because it's the same thing.
Yeah, like there's that one little object or that one little song or that one little thing, person or the relative.
Well, that's like, what was it?
Like with Frozen.
The kid who's in the first Toy Story's mom is actually the little girl from the Monsters
Incorporated.
Inc.
Monsters
movie.
Inc.
Yeah.
Wait. So
which is also the female cowgirl's owner who put her in a box and the parents just shipped her off and never.
Huh.
This is just one of the things that, one of those little snippets that
seen,
pops up on my shorts and stuff that's like, I like that viewpoint.
Yeah,
I'll have to tell you about it.
I've seen different, not headcanons, but different.
Where they show how it would connect because of the
theories.
stuff in the movies and whatnot actually show.
Yeah, different theories about that world, like with Frozen universe versus.
But it's also like how
and other things.
the kid, I can't remember, Andy, a lot of the friends that come to his birthday party are just clones of him. Because they didn't have the budget to change all the faces, so it's literally he's having a birthday party with himself. It's just clones of him.
Huh. Wow.
So that just throws a whole nother hoo-ha in the what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the multiverse of Andy.
Yeah.
With variants. Variants of Andy that all gathered
But
together.
see, here's the funny part. If that's the thing, then how do we know that the father of the little girl who gets the toys on Toy Story 3 or 4, whichever one it was, where it got given to the little girl, all the toys.
Yeah.
What if her dad is a different Andy? He's just an older clone.
Holy shit.
Just
What
a
the fuck?
thought.
When the actual series.
So the toys are actually staying with Andy, just a different clone of Andy.
Wow.
I just figured I'd throw that out there for a little spitball.
Yeah.
See if your brain melts.
Wow. And then, like, I heard that there was also another character that was supposed to be Sid in Toy Story.
Ah. But what if Sid is the clone of Andy's actual father? Because you don't see the dad, you only see the mom.
Wow.
Just a little. Because you don't see the dad of Sid, you only see the little sister. You don't see the dad of Andy, you only see the mom.
Huh.
So are they divorced? Was his dad the dad of both houses? He was sleeping around? Where's the connector? Because you only talk about... In the movie, they only talk about Andy's mom.
Wow.
And the little sister goes and screams, "Mom! Sid!"
Sid's being mean.
Yeah. Nobody talks about the dad. What if it's the same dad screwing everybody on the block? Ding, 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 ding. Trailer trash in the city.
The multiverse of Andy stems from the same dad.
Just a thought. Dude, I could throw this shit out there and then somebody make a random video. Hey, I heard this guy say this on this podcast. I actually figured out. Here's... I
Here's
just
the
sit back and
actual
go, cool.
Just watching somebody like post a comment in the comment section, and it's like a video that they made that's an answer to that whole topic of discussion.
I would love that. But I mean, weird shit like that is where my brain goes, wait, if that's a factor and that's a factor, wait, because the furry from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
They put the door back together. He comes and meets her. She's older. What if he actually, because she tackles him or whatever,
Yeah.
what if the door accidentally closes, and because it's a broken piece of shit on that side, when it closes, it breaks apart on the Monster Inc. side, and he has to shave himself every day and pretend he's a human. Because he's a 6 foot tall guy.
Yeah.
All he'd have to do is wear a hat and shave his body every day.
Huh.
He's the weirdo background character in another movie with blue hair. And because
Mine
they don't
melts.
age like humans do, what if that's actually Andy's dad?
What the? You're having fun with all these little spitballing notions.
This is where my brain goes when I'm just left to, I bet you I can, let's connect dots. Let's make this weird as shit. Oh, but no, Sid's dad is the little girl's actual monster that was supposed to scare her. Because remember, he got shoved into a door and the door got shut off.
Yeah.
What if he's Sid's dad?
That's so weird.
That's why Sid's an evil little shit, because that character's an evil asshole.
Huh.
Just a
Talk about Randall.
yeah.
Oh shit. The one who
Or
does the
what if
shit
he's
shit
like
thing.
his grandfather or some stuff?
Yeah.
You remember? Well, what's the last thing you see? Him being shot at
Yeah.
in the bayou. Who says he doesn't get out? There's no proof that he didn't survive.
Yeah.
There's no proof that he died. There's also no proof of anything in any of these universes. It's all just spitball. Let's see what the hell we can make the universe look weird as shit. And wait, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I can do this shit for days. But I mean, that would explain why Sid's an evil little shit, because his dad or grandfather or great grandfather is the evil monster that got out and made it with a human.
Yeah.
So that way he wouldn't die. And because he can turn invisible, who's to say he didn't go invisible because he was lonely? He decided to bang a human just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Because he's broken in the head.
Yeah. But how would he shapeshift, though? He doesn't have a shapeshifter, remember?
He doesn't have to. He turns invisible. She's asleep. He knocks her up. It's like Jesus. She never... Virgin...
Wow.
Virgin Mother.
So if he's posing
Just a
around-
random...
See, if he's posing with humanity, and he looks like Andy, or he looks like Sid.
Well, that's where I think the blue guy would be able to. I don't know if the other one would be able to because of how, he looks like a lizard.
Yeah.
But because he's crazy and we'll just suck out the fear out of them to try to get the energy, even though that doesn't work.
Yeah.
She's just screaming and bitching.
Yep.
All she's doing is crying more because she's scared. That's not going to get you more energy. It's going to get you the same amount of energy because she's screaming.
Yeah.
Or scared shitless. That doesn't do anything for the energy. So he's trying to figure out a way to get energy to open the door from this side.
Interesting.
But he's not as powerful or good enough to do it like they showed the two main characters doing in the prequel for Monsters University.
Yeah. I remember not liking that movie as much as the first one.
Some people didn't like it. I thought it was an interesting viewpoint.
Yeah, it was definitely different and interesting. Watching Sully walk around as the popular jock, and then terrorizing Mike Wazowski, and how Randall went from being this very
Nerd.
friendly nerd to being a total creep. It was pretty funny and interesting. This wasn't the biggest fan of what the story was.
It's a revenge story.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it was. It was a revenge story, absolutely.
Yeah. That's why he hates them both, because they fucked him in the end.
Yeah, they basically screwed him over.
Yeah.
It's like a mix between them and Circumstance.
Well, it's what they did and how he interacted or acted with the situation.
Yeah. And so from then on, he always is trying to get revenge on them.
By besting it.
Mm-hmm.
By besting Sully.
Yep. And Sully's just, used to being the guy who's popular, liked a lot, and...
And then when he got screwed, he had to team up with the guy he thought was an idiot for going in the scare program.
Yep.
And then they figured out, I like the ending where they're like, oh, we'll just start in the mailroom.
Yep.
Work our way up to the top.
Yep.
And
I
they
remember
did,
that.
too. I thought that was a good way to end the story the way they did.
Yeah.
That I thought was good.
Yeah. Now, after watching it a couple times, because I watched it with the kids, and before I watched
I've
it...
just watched it for shits and
I first watched it in the first apartment I ever lived in, and then years later I watched it again on Disney Plus because the kids were watching it, and I enjoyed it more that time with the kids. But aside from that, it still is not my favorite.
No, I understand it, but I'm saying
classic.
With that sort of storyline, and him knowing he's not scary enough,
Yeah.
like Sully is.
Yep.
To create enough energy to open it from the other side is that weird little thing. Or the other weird little thing is, what if he's didn't go and rape or do anything to a female? The government found him. He got caught by the government because he has a way to become invisible. They literally cut him apart or took his blood.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how to copy that.
Yeah.
And because one of the scientists or something got the blood, mixed in with his, that's why 2 or 3 generations down you get Sid the evil little shithead because it's in his genetics to be a little asshole. Like I said, I can go a million different ways with that shit. Probably make 10 movies while doing it.
Yeah. Just make sure you send the check to Karnage.
Yeah, right. Just email him and he'll tell me, and then we'll work out a deal. I got
Yeah.
1,000,001 ideas how I could connect every Pixar, Disney, Marvel, DC, mix them all together and have them all literally just sitting next to each other in the Milky Way, and they all think they're the Earth, like where we live, but the funny part is they're just another planet that's like us, that's so far away we can't see it with our current satellites,
Yeah.
but yet they're on the same wavelength as certain people's way their brain vibrations are.
Yep.
So they get the ideal, they write it down, and it becomes a famous comic book or series or genre or company like Marvel and DC and stuff like that. It becomes its own universe because somebody's on the same wavelength, but it's 1,000,000 light years that way.
Yeah.
And it took that long for the wavelength to get to whomever's brain who's writing it down, like you writing your book. What if what you're writing is actually happening in a universe 1,000,000 light years that way?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's like the whole werewolf and vampire stuff that we've talked about. Like, what if it's actually real? Does it have to be real on this Earth, or does it have to be real on another? That's the whole multiverse thing. What if it's not a multiverse? It's just somewhere out there in our universe or in the other universes that we can see in our satellites. And what if it's even further out where we can't see it? Like,
yeah.
what was it? One of the science ones I listened to, that the only reason that they can prove that the Big Bang was 13.8 or somewhere around there billion years ago is because if it was infinitely further back, there'd be so much light because there'd been so many stars made that we wouldn't have nighttime. It'd just be so bright because there'd be so many stars. It'd be daytime all the time.
Yeah.
But that also goes with my, no, when you become a god entity, pick your black hole, go search your universes in that black hole. That's where the Big Bang is. You go through it. It happens because you went through the dimensional portal,
Yep.
and when it went, you have to fix it and put it together. With the rule book you get.
Yeah, it makes sense. Plus, also, the idea that there's like other realities and other universes and timelines where stories that we write are often echoes of said timeline. It's very, very compelling. Very
Well, it's also
fascinating.
like Joe Rogan has made the comment that somewhere in the cosmos of all the universes, what's happening right now has already happened and is also happening at the exact same time somewhere else. But what I don't think he's realized by him saying that it's not happening or previously happened the exact same way
Yeah.
in this cosmos, because this cosmos, this is the fucked up world, but yet it's through a black hole into another cosmos, the same exact things happening again, because like I've said on this podcast and just in general, this is the starter world, this is the tester world. Oh shit, I screwed up, I have to become the Messiah, kill myself too, so that way everybody can get to paradise. And what if paradise, the place that it's supposed to be, and it's been, what did Dad and Mom told me, the name of the planet is Collab, and it's like 36 million or thousand, I think it was million light years that way, on a planet that's so far away, but one day on God's planet is 1,000 years here. So it didn't take, like we've talked about this before, it didn't take God 7 Earth days. It took, but I mean, we agree, every religion agrees, at least Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim agree that Jehovah, Jesus, was the one who made this world, and he was the God from the Old Testament.
Yeah.
But that's where a lot of people get confused, because you can't be a God and then be brought into existence. Yeah, it is your spiritual father, God Daddy,
Yep.
Godfather,
Sky Daddy.
is the one who took over when you came to live your mortal life.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if we all get the rule book, if we get to the point where we can become our own gods, then that means we have to have somewhere to go. And if this has been going on since the beginning of existence, which is unknown eons upon eons backwards,
Yep.
then every black hole or fluctuation in time or any dimensional bubble could be the origin of the Big Bang from our viewpoint, but that also goes to 13.8 million years back. That also goes back to our years that we're counting now, 365 days, because our years are actually 365 days and a fourth.
Yeah.
That's why we have, every leap year we add an extra day.
Makes sense.
But that goes into, okay, if we do that, then 13.8 million years ago, what if, or million years ago, what if a year was only like 3 months? Because how fast time was moving. So you're not calculating it properly. Like I talked about the beginning of the Earth, or, the beginning of our universe. Time moves faster at the beginning of everything. Every supernova that turns into a black hole is just another entity getting their universe, their starter pack, essentially. With the rule book, here's how you start. You always start with your fuck up world, figure out where you screwed up, so that way you can make the next one better.
Yeah.
Which is where the cosmos, with multiple universes, with a million universes in each universe, comes into play. Because if it was 13.8 billion years ago, I think the universe would be bigger. I think our measurement of time for everywhere else is wrong from our current viewpoint, not our viewpoint of how long time was, day, month, year, century, decade, that sort of stuff, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
3,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago. It's the thing. Was it the same speed, or were we moving faster or slower? Are we speeding up, or are we slowing down? Because I remember when I was back in high school, it was a thing that eventually it's going to stop and come back and combine and compound.
Yeah.
But no, it's still expanding. Yeah, because it's infinite. Infinite means there's no end.
Yes.
And my argument with if the universe started infinite time back, the whole thing with there'd be so many stars, it'd be a white sky, bright day, night, all the time, is invalid, because once you go so far away, you can't see the light. The light will never get here because the angle of the light is not a straight line to us.
Yeah.
We look at other suns and other stars, and the only way we know if there's a planet is it darkens and brightens when the planet gets in front of that sun. What if we're looking at it and we think it should be going this way or blocking, but it's not. It's going this way when we're looking at the star, so we can't see the light change because it's doing this.
Yeah.
Compared to our point of view. Sort of thing. It's like you're looking at it too small. Ours does this. No. I actually saw a video about this. I should have sent it to you. About, no. Our universe does this around its sun. But its sun's rotating around the black hole at the center of the thing. So the universe is actually doing like a 6-degree rotation around the whole Milky Way.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a constant rotation. Everything's a constant rotation. You're never going to get to the end of it because there's no end. It's forever. If space is infinite, which it is, you can't claim that the sky would be so white that you'd be able to see every star, because if it's far enough away or at the wrong angle, we would never see the light, and plus the light is so far away, it would take so long to get to us. By the time it gets to us, the sky's not all white all the time because that star died, but yet we still see it as alive because how long the light took to get to us. What if that one's dead and there's a star right next to it that we finally get the light to,
Yeah.
But yet, by the time we get it, that universe is, that star's gone out, turned into a black hole, made a whole new universe to start.
Yeah, because anytime we see stars in the sky, really what we're seeing is the depth of the star, and often.
Or we're just seeing it from when it was a million years ago.
Yep. Or a giant sum of time before that.
Yeah.
Whatever
You
that
can never
said
see
about
the
that.
current day, even with the cameras we have, because I saw something where they were talking about they took a picture with the satellite, and in the picture, because of how far away it is, you're seeing it the day they took the picture, 1,000 years after the picture, 1,000,000 years after the picture, all in the same picture because of the fluctuation, because how far away gravity and time, the way it warped the lens you're seeing it through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I heard that, I'm like, hey, that just proves you're all fucking idiots and don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Point in case! The physics you think the universe works at is still only level 1. Maybe.
Yes. I think we should keep continuing in this on the next week's podcast.
Yeah, you're starting to pass out.
A little bit.
I was about to say, all right, time to end it.
Yeah, because it's like 20 minutes after 12, and that's when we said we would end it. So, next week we're going to revisit Laws of Power, but we're also going to revisit the space topic, because I've actually been learning a lot of stuff about space stuff, and like travel and things like that. Like, for instance, our Earth nearly missed a asteroid the size of an airplane, apparently, a Boeing 747.
Yeah, I've
And,
heard that little factoid.
Yeah, and so I was looking into some space stuff, but probably going to have more space stuff to talk about next week, because I'm going to be doing some more work on research. But this has been Crazy Peas. I am TPAW.
I am the Karnage.
And while I can't even finish my own sentences, have a week and enjoy yourselves.
Don't die.